Hello and a very warm welcome back to English and Wealth from the Freedom Equation. I'm Liam.
And I'm Chloe. It's great to have you with us. Last week, we had a fascinating debate about the roles of luck and risk in our success.
We did. Today, we're diving even deeper into the world of behavioral economics to discuss one of the most powerful forces that affects our financial decisions, loss aversion. In simple terms, it's a cognitive bias where the pain of losing is psychologically about twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining.
And I'm going to challenge that right from the start, Liam. Calling it a bias or an error in thinking sounds like something academics would say from a comfortable office. For most people in the real world, I don't think it's a bias at all. I think it's a perfectly logical survival instinct.
A very strong opening for our debate. Let's explore that. The scientific evidence for loss aversion is strong. For example, most people will not accept a 50-50 bet to win £150 unless they are offered it on the condition that they could only lose £100. The fear of losing £100 is stronger than the hope of winning £150, even when the odds are in their favour.
And in a lab, that might look like an irrational bias. But for someone without a large financial safety net, losing £100 could be a disaster. It could mean not being able to pay a bill or buy food. Gaining £150 is nice, but it isn't life-changing. The pain of the loss is genuinely more impactful than the pleasure of the gain. That's not a bias, that's just life. It's simple prudence.
An excellent word. For our listeners, prudence, Prudence, is a noun that means being careful and avoiding risks. But where this becomes a problem, Chloe, is in investing. Investors who are driven by loss aversion often sell their winning investments too early to lock in a small gain, and they hold on to their losing investments for far too long, hoping they will recover. They fail to follow the very important advice to cut your losses.
Okay, and that's a great idiom. To cut your losses means to stop doing something that is failing in order to reduce the amount of money or time you lose. I agree that in the world of stock market investing, loss aversion can be a problem. But for a market trader here in Krongpoipet, losing a day's earnings is a real, immediate threat to their family's well-being. They aren't thinking about a 10-year investment portfolio. They are thinking about tonight's dinner. Their mindset is simply better safe than sorry.
Another perfect idiom. Better safe than sorry means it's wiser to be cautious than to be reckless and regret it later. And you've highlighted the real heart of this debate. The very same psychological trait, loss aversion, can be a destructive bias for a wealthy investor, but a crucial survival tool for someone with very little. Its rationality completely depends on your context.
Exactly. It's not a universal flaw. It's a human trait that can be helpful or harmful depending on the situation.
Summary and recap.
Okay, that was a fascinating debate. Let's recap. First, we learned about loss aversion, the psychological principle that the pain of losing feels about twice as strong as the pleasure of gaining. Liam argued that this is a cognitive bias that makes people bad investors as they are afraid to cut their losses. I argued that for many people, this isn't a bias, but essential prudence, because in real life, it's often better safe than sorry.
Ultimately, we concluded that whether loss aversion is a bug or a feature of our minds depends entirely on our financial situation and context. Pronunciation tip. Now for our pronunciation tip. The vowel sound in the word loss can be tricky for learners. In a standard British accent, it's a short, open O sound. It's different from the longer or sound in a word like laws. Listen to the difference. Loss, or. Let's practice a few pairs. Repeat after me. Cot, ought. Pot, port. Shot, short. Well done. Practicing that subtle difference between the o and or sounds will make your accent much clearer. Reflection and outro.
So that's all we have time for today, a discussion that really makes you think about how we make decisions.
It does, and our reflection question for you is this. Think about the last time you were afraid to lose something, whether it was money, an item, or an opportunity. Did that fear cause you to be wisely prudent, or did it stop you from taking a potentially positive risk?
Understanding our own psychology is the first step to making better decisions.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope this debate has given you a new perspective. Join us next week on The Freedom Equation.
Don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast app. Until next time, keep learning.
And keep thinking. Goodbye for now.